education and healthcare are the industries which are largely the recession-proof industry that we say. Even in this place, for someone to build that kind of infrastructure, it means that it is generating a lot of money.
It's not just about career, it's about you.
When you understand yourself, when you understand what do I love doing. So close your eyes for a moment and imagine it's your wedding time and you're going to buy a lehenga. So are you going to buy that lehenga online?
No.
Why? Why not? Okay, why? What could go wrong if you were to buy it online?
I don't know, but I won't be aware of the size and the color.
Okay.
The way it is going to look on me, so I'll prefer to go in an offline store.
So
Okay.
a piece of garment, I hope, sincerely hope everybody in their life gets to wear only once. For that garment, we spend so much of time trying to get the look and feel, of that
Yeah,
particular thing
exactly.
and make sure that it looks good on you. And you will not outsource this decision to anyone, no matter how much you love them. You will choose it for yourself, right? Because it's that important to you. Then when it comes to career, we don't care about what is the look and feel of that career. The world treats men and women very differently, especially in a tier 2 city.
What message you will give to them? How they can start their own ventures?
Why are you giving importance to other people's word when it comes to your career? Why do you settle for it without trying it?
Hi, welcome Khushbu, welcome to TMO.
Hi, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for accepting our request. And before we dive into your journey, I would like to ask if you have to describe Khushbu in one word or one hashtag, what it would be.
One word. I'd say hopelessly optimistic.
Oh, okay. So let's start with your journey actually. How you started decoding me and what was the inspiration which was there for you to start this venture?
Right. So I think there were 3 key points in the story, and we'll take this one by one. First stage was when I was in school, somewhere around 6th, 7th standard, where I was like, I want to do something very big in my life. Like at that time, I was wondering why just Tata and Sons, why not Chopra and Daughters? So at that time, it was like, okay, let's do something as big as, where the world knows you for what you're doing, with no idea of what I really want to do, but just a mega size ambition in life. So that was first point in the story. Second point was when I realized that I think I was traveling to some rural place, and it was a 3-hour car journey, and I saw a lot of universities, as in at least 2 to 3 universities. Some were engineering colleges, some were medical colleges, some were architecture colleges, and I was like, even in this place, for someone to build that kind of infrastructure, it means that it is generating a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I realized education and healthcare are the industries which are largely, all the recession-proof industry that we say. And even in education, I feel when parents are at their peak, which is in their 40s in terms of finances, kids are usually 15, 16 years old. And parents feel that if they invest in education at that moment, and they have max amount of money to invest when
Correct.
kids are of that age, so they will invest a few more lakhs. They're fine with it. They feel that their future will be secure. So I realized that that age group is good to build business. That was the second point. And the third point was I personally went through this issue wherein I did a lot of career counseling sessions in 10th standard, 11, 12th standard. And I did all the things possible, the fingerprint test, the personality assessment test, you name it, I've done it. And my parents were very serious about us having a career, and they were like, no, let's solve this confusion, with all the methods available in the market. And I thought I was making an informed choice of being a mechanical engineer because I was interested in eventually setting up an industry and being an industrialist. But just 1 month into interning in an industry, it was an automobile industry, I was like, oh, I hate the shop floor, I don't like it. So from then to then, eventually realizing a lot of people around me who have gone through the same problem, no matter how many resources they had or how well their family was doing, or irrespective of those factors, everybody faced this issue.
Yeah.
So I was like, if we are to live in a youth dominant country, and if a
Yeah.
youth does not know the work they want to do, and if everybody's
Correct.
going to waste their first 3-4 years of work in just figuring out what work they want to do, and it does not match your educational qualification, then it's a waste of 5 to 10 years of your life.
Correct.
So what I realized, okay, this is a potential problem. Now let's go about solving it. One thing led to the other, and we had Decoding Me.
Okay, so you found a gap and you tried to solve the problem which currently the youth is facing.
Right.
Okay, and how does the name Decoding Me came? Because it's very interesting. It's not just about career, it's about you. So how it came?
Right. So how it came into existence was we were looking for a name which, without us having to convey what we do, it would convey that message. So ideally, at the heart of understanding what work you want to do, that process is you decoding yourself. When you understand yourself, when you understand what do I love doing, what kind of things exist outside, and out of that, what do I love doing and why. That process is essentially you decoding the way the world works and where do you fit in. So it's largely about you decoding yourself. And a lot of times people ask me, why not decode me? Why not decoding me? Why not decode me? Why decoding me? So to that I say that it's once you've decoded yourself doesn't mean it's over. It's a process. You
continuous process.
continuously keep on decoding yourself. And a wise man or woman once said that you should be so different every 5 years of your life that you don't, you cannot, you wouldn't come to terms, or you wouldn't be able to recognize your 5-year-old self.
Oh,
So
that's very
that's
interesting.
that's the idea. Keep growing, keep decoding yourself.
So, Khushbu, you mentioned about Decoding Me, right? So, I want to ask how the platform works and how the students can get help from that platform.
So we partner with the schools, and the way it works is that just the way when we were in 9th and 10th standard, and we used to have one library period once a week, or one games period, or maybe one geography period, just that way we have one career exploration period in the school. So if you are in 9th A, you will be having one career exploration period per week throughout the year.
How do you describe this word career exploration?
So there's an interesting story to that. We make them understand the importance of understanding the work done in that career. So I'm gonna actually do that session with you that we do with students and parents.
Okay.
So close your eyes for a moment and imagine that it's your wedding time, okay? And you are going to, so you're a woman, you're a bride, and you're
Right.
going to buy a lehenga. So are you going to buy that lehenga online?
No,
Why? Why not?
I want to try it with me.
Okay, why? What could
Yeah.
go wrong if you were to buy it online?
I don't know, but I won't be aware of the size and the color,
Okay.
the way it is going to look on me. So I'll prefer to go in an offline store.
Okay, so now imagine 1 month ago was your first cousin's wedding, and she got a lehenga that you absolutely love, and you trust your cousin. Okay, this is that cousin that you actually like. So imagine she tells you that, hey, I will purchase the lehenga from the same store that I purchased my lehenga from, and you trust me with the taste, and I have your measurements, so let me buy that lehenga for you. So are you then gonna trust her?
No, never.
I think you don't have cousins that you like. I can see the trust issues. Okay, but why won't you trust her?
Again, that lehenga is something which I want to wear, so
Yeah.
I won't trust anyone else. Even if my parents say that I'll bring the lehenga for you, I'll say I'll prefer to go by myself and choose it for myself.
Yeah, exactly, precisely. You can open your eyes now. So
Okay.
a piece of garment that we are gonna, I hope, sincerely hope everybody in their life gets to wear only once. For that garment, we spend so much of time trying to get the look and feel, of that
Yeah,
particular thing,
exactly.
and make sure that it looks good on you. And you will not outsource this decision to anyone, no matter how much you love them. You will choose it for yourself, right? Because it's that important to you. Then when it comes to career, we don't care about what is the look and feel of that career. Let me try that career. What if it doesn't suit me, right? or just because my mom or my grandmom or that uncle is telling me to do something, I will do it because it might be good for me. If you're not going to buy that lehenga, you know, which you're
How
placing so
come-
much importance to,
yeah.
why are you giving importance to other people's word when it comes to your career? Why do you settle for it without trying it? So, career exploration is all about trying a career before finalizing it. We are the only company in the country that allows you to try a career before you actually choose it in 9th, 10th, or your school days.
Oh, that's really very interesting that you get a chance where you can see how you are going to be in that career which you choose for yourself, and like how the process works. Like if a student reach out to you, okay. If a student comes to you, and then how you guide them for that. Like for example, if today I am coming to you and asking you to support me with my career, then how it is going to be.
So now in 9th standard, a very common question that we get is there are so many careers, you know, what is the starting point? Because I'm completely confused. So now what we've done is we have divided all the careers that exist on the planet into certain categories. Okay. Again, let's try to simplify this. For example, if you want to go for a vacation, now there are types of vacation that you can take, right? You could be a spiritual person, so you want to go for that kind of vacation.
Yeah.
You are a snow person, you want to go for something else. You're a beach person, you're a mountain person, or whatever, etc. categories. The same way, we have created types of careers. So all the careers that you see in this world can be categorized into 13 types on the basis of the type of work that is done in that career. Right? Because we are saying understand the work done, nothing else, right? Try the work and then you choose. So in 9th and 10th standard, all you have to do is understand and experience all these 13 types and then choose one. So if you come to us, we will give, so on our AI powered career exploration platform, which we hosted on our website, you will be able to try all those 13 careers and choose for yourself what are you liking, what are you not liking, and we give you real world exploration of that career.
Okay, so that's how it works.
That's how it works, yeah.
Okay. So Khushbu, if a 9th standard or 10th standard student comes to you and asks you about how to pursue their career, so how the process actually works with Decoding Me?
So let's say Pranjal, 9th standard student, is coming to us, is completely confused, has no idea about what she's interested in, right?
Yeah.
In that case, we will have you explore all the 13 types of careers, understand a little bit about each type. So to name a few career types, we have engineering, IT, media and entertainment, design, hospitality, healthcare, etc. So there are 13 major categories, yes.
Okay.
Then, so our job is just to help you segregate what career types are you interested in, what are you confused about, and what are you completely disinterested in.
Okay.
And then in interested and confused, we help you rank these career types depending on two factors, either your curiosity about the career or on basis of whatever you know and think might be good for you. Okay. So we map that for you first. Once that is done, then each career type, you will be exploring occupations within that career type. Let's say, for example, your first rank was engineering and your second rank was media and entertainment. Now we know that, you know, your career type is media and entertainment because you're in this field and it's combined with business management where your gifting business comes into picture. But if we talk about social media, it's largely media and entertainment wherein you're an artist. So in 9th standard, in under engineering, you will explore all the major occupations. Let's consider robotics engineering. So there will be 3 case studies that you'll be exploring, real world case studies where you'll actually work like a robotics engineer in a company doing a real world project, all through our AI powered dashboard. And in that process, you might realize, okay, you know what, robotics engineer as a name sounds very fancy to me, but this work done is not something that I relate to and something I want to do for the rest of my life. And let's say on second option, you then explore media and entertainment, and in that you might explore a few occupations, one of which would be artist. So there, you know, you might come across work done by a YouTuber, a real life YouTuber case study that we would have taken and actually do that work and realize that, hey, this is something that's fun. Or at that age, you might not relate to an artist, but you would be like, you know what, media and entertainment is something that's really resonating with me. and I'm understanding the work done here, and I see myself doing this work for the rest of my life, and excelling in this. So there are 3 case studies. Then there's something called Guess Who Reverse, wherein you follow the career path of a successful personality. So right from what did they pursue in their bachelor's to what their career looks like in first 10-15 years, what are they doing, what are they going through, that kind of journey you explore in a treasure hunt kind of manner. And third part is a real world project where it gets a lot more, where that exploration and that career trial that we were talking about, that's a lot more hands-on and a lot more real world. So you'll actually be doing a project in that particular field. And so this is how the exploration works.
Okay, continuing to the previous question, Khushbu. If I'm a 14-15 year girl, then it's very easy for me to get into this journey where I can choose what path I want to go for. But if I'm someone who has already started their graduation in some degree because of the family pressure, they ask me to do science and go in that career, but I'm not liking it, or finding it that I'll be able to do it for the rest of my life. So at that point, what needs to be done?
Interesting question, and I'm sure data suggests that about 86% of graduates don't end up working in the field that they've studied, and or they're completely clueless about the kind of work they want to do. So I'm sure 8 out of 10 people are facing the issue that you're facing. In that case, first thing I'd say, relax. It's never too late. Don't panic or don't hate yourself for the decisions that you made. It's important to realize that you're doing something wrong and you want to fix it. That mentality is important. Now that you have that mentality, there are solutions, and the first step to that is identify your career type. So whatever we would do for 9th standard students, I'd suggest the same method, wherein now you've chosen science. Whether you like science or you want to switch to commerce, don't think about all that. Don't think about subjects and education. Just understand the type of careers that exist in the world. Where do you see yourself? Explore it, and eventually you can see how to transition into that career. High chances are that you just need to start working in that field and start from ground up. Or if you want to pursue masters in that field, etc., that's a later question. But just identify your career type, and within that career type, which occupation are you liking and you want to start with.
Okay, so anyone can actually change the path
100%.
whenever they want to.
Yeah.
Okay, so a question based on the entrepreneurship, like you started a venture, so what were the initial steps you took to start this venture, and what were the major difficulties you faced in those times?
So I'm still facing difficulties, and any
You name a
entrepreneur,
few,
even
actually.
even at like 50th year of running it, they'd be facing difficulties. I think the first step was to just believe in yourself against all odds and just start it. There, at any given point of time, no matter how old you are, no matter what your gender is, no matter what kind of background you come from, there are more than 20 reasons to not start a company.
Yeah.
But there's only 1 to 2 reasons to start it. 1, you believe in that idea and you feel like it will really add value to your career and to the community that you want to serve. And 2, you want to run a business, right? You just want to start. So and more often than not, this is not enough to start, because there are 20 other things because of which you can't. So I feel like for a very long time, it took me quite a few months of just coming to that thought that let me drop everything I'm doing and let's do this full time. So just starting was the first thing. And second, they say that don't do what you do out of motivation, do what you do out of discipline, because you'll run out of motivation at some point, and you will, no matter how passionate you are and no matter how you feel about it. But discipline will go a long way. So it took me a good 1.5 years to really come to that practice where you are disciplined about your work, in the sense that if this is your work timing, it is your work timing. You are going to go to the office and you are going to get the work done, and there's no, just because you're not reporting to anybody, right? There's no one to ask you.
You're not accountable to anyone, actually.
Correct. You're always accountable to your customers and your stakeholders.
Correct.
But they are not asking you at the end of every day, right? So I think being responsible and being disciplined throughout was something that was a learning curve. Also, the earlier two things that I mentioned, they're being talked about a lot, and there's enough awareness around that subject. But I feel one thing where there's not as much awareness is even if you show up and you're disciplined at work.
Yeah.
In the first 400, 500 days of working, and in that time, you are essentially getting your first 100 customers if you're a B2C business, or you're getting your first 3, 4 customers if you're a B2B business.
Correct.
In that time, you're gonna feel like you are selling your soul and nobody wants to buy, especially if you're doing something innovative,
Yeah.
right? So it's a very testing time for you mentally, physically, emotionally, and it's not like life stops, right? Your personal life is still running, and there would be a lot of things which are not perfect and hunky dory in your personal life. So everything when comes together,
Yeah.
sometimes it becomes very overwhelming, and the easiest thing to think of or the easiest thing to do in that moment is the 4-letter word that even you're
Correct.
thinking, quit, right? But do
Yeah.
not. If you feel that this is something that has potential and you can, create the impact that you want to create, then don't stop. Just
Yeah.
take a break, get some ice cream, take a day off, but next day show up and do the same thing. And just keep solving your problems with discipline. Don't repeat the previous problem. And be very aware of what you want to do, what you don't want to do, and be very planned. That is something that I learned. I think I use Google Sheets extensively. Like I will tabulate everything, right from how disciplined I am to the kind of work that I'm doing and the kind of work that I want to do, and what's the timeline and things like that. So I think being planned and having that hopelessly. That's why I said, like, I'm describing myself in that one word. That's hopelessly optimistic. I think that's important. Just mad optimism. Nobody might be able to understand it because
Yeah.
it's in such a mess at the moment. But in one person's optimism is enough to make things big. So yeah.
Wow. Like I can now actually see why you are still running this business and you are going to run it for years now.
Hope, touch wood. Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. And like a different question than we were talking about. I have read that you are a gold medalist in boxing and then university's football team captain. Then how sports have like shaped your life in this domain, in entrepreneurship journey?
So I think so. Boxing is an individual sport.
Yeah.
So those lessons were different, and football lessons were different because it's a team sport. And dude, the amount of hard work I've done to get a team of 12 women on the field, practice every day, was I've literally gone to their rooms at 4 in the evening and knocked on their doors that, like, please come for the practice,
Yeah.
because I know that they're going to show up on time. And for some reason, I don't know, football girls team, it was always the last team to be formed, and not that much enthusiasm. But what I learned while being the football team captain is you just need, it was an interesting journey wherein most of the girls that were coming for the practice were coming for 2 reasons. Okay, out of 12 girls, 2 girls were coming because they love the sport, and rest of the 10 girls were coming because they wanted male attention, and all the cute guys in the college would be playing football. So they and it's very cool, right, to see like women playing football. So they were coming for that. But the motivation to show up for a practice at 4 in the evening or at 5 in the morning was very low. So the 2 girls that believed in the sport and that were really doing it out of just passion and love for the sport were me and my vice captain. And in that moment, I realized that the reason why I'm able to knock on all those 10 doors and get everyone to come for the evening and the morning practice is because I have this one person with me who also refuses to give up. And I was like, you know what, with both of our not giving up attitude, we can get these 12 girls to come practice and we can actually go to tournaments. Whether we win or not is a separate story, and we never won. But we made it to the tournaments, and we at least made it to a few decent qualifying rounds. Wow. So to manage that team and in against all odds, like even our sports head did not want to send us for tournaments because he's like, I know what kind of I've seen the way you guys practice and the passion with which you practice, and I'm like, I can't argue with this guy, but how do I still convince him to let us go? So all of those things, like, you're essentially swimming against the tide. So how do you still make things go your way? I think that was something that I learned, and truly, I think a lot can happen with just the don't give up attitude. And all you need is a few initial set of people in your team who also share that same passion and that same love for the thing you're doing, and that can go a long way. So
Okay.
I feel that that's something I learned from the football experience, and the boxing experience. Actually, I didn't plan on getting boxing coaching, but in our university, we were hosting. So every year we host a national level tournament in the university, and boxing has always been there. And for some reason, from our own university, there were not enough
Boxing
women representatives, or and whoever was there, they had passed out. So that particular year there was nobody, and nobody was really interested. So the coach just walked up to a few females that he regularly sees in the sports arena, and he's like, would you guys like to train? And a lot of them were like, no, we already are doing engineering, and then we're doing this now. We don't have the time to do it. And I was like, see, I know that in football I'm not gonna get a medal. We're not gonna win a match. So might as well try my hands at boxing, and I know that I can manage like 1.5 hour of training time every day. So I told him like I'm up for it, and the guy that was training us was a military person. So I was like, that is going to be fun in itself, right? That experience is going to be crazy. And believe me, he showed no mercy. I felt that, okay, he might go a little easy on me, because I was essentially doing this because he also came requesting for something. But then he was like, you signed up for it, now you're going to make sure that you get that gold. And he trained us in a way where I actually got that medal.
Gold
So
medal.
and even on the day of the match, there were a few things because of which it was best if I did not play at all. I didn't show up in the ring. And even the coach was like, it's okay if you don't show up. But I was like, no, we've practiced for so long. We've put our blood, sweat and tears to this for so many months, and now I'm not gonna give up. Like literally in the Bangalore winters at like 5 in the morning, we were practicing for 2.5 hours, and I'm like, nope, I'm not going to give up. So I think the importance of showing up, and the importance of just living up to your commitment, right?
Yeah.
Against all odds, physical, mental, emotional, doesn't matter. You've got to live up to your commitment. So I think that's something I learned from that gig.
Okay, so now after hearing your story, what I can see is you're already a very sincere person and a person who is not going to easily give up on hard dreams.
100%.
So that's how you are running this business also. by not
I'm trying to.
Okay, Khushbu, so let's do a myth versus reality round, and I'll ask you some questions. You just let me know that whether it's a myth or reality. So the first thing I want to ask is, you need to choose your career path before you enter your 10th standard.
Career path is very vague. I'd say choose your career type, before 10th completes, and reality.
Okay. Second is, passion alone can't be a career.
Myth.
Okay. Marks define your future.
Biggest myth.
Internships are only for college student and not for school going.
Not anymore. Myth.
Okay, so that's all I had. Okay, so going with the entrepreneurship, which is the core of our podcast also. So I want to ask whether you are a bootstrap company at this stage, or you actually raised fund for starting your own venture.
We have a few advisors on board who also have equity, and they've invested some amount. But I wouldn't say that we are a properly funded company. We're mostly bootstrap company with advisors on board.
Got it. And if you have to give advice to the youngsters who are watching this podcast, then what will be the one advice? And the biggest question which we come to here is, you need to do MBA.
Yeah.
So is it really necessary to complete your MBA to run a business? Because
Absolutely.
I guess even you have completed your MBA.
I know I've completed that, and not the best answer. But I'd say that you don't need any degree to particularly do something unless you want to be a doctor. It's good to have a degree. So once you know for sure what you want to become, go ahead and pursue that degree. But don't give too much advantage to that degree. If you want to do a business, spend more time in understanding in which sector, and get an experience in that sector with the best company available. And if you then want a degree, you can go ahead and before starting out, but focus more on what kind of sector and what kind of problem you want to solve if you want to get into a business. And a generic advice to youngsters watching this would be, don't be scared of AI. There is a lot of talk around AI is going to take away my job. That's not going to happen. Be curious, learn to have fun, learn to understand yourself, learn to understand the way the world works, and see where you fit in. And in this entire journey, just remember that it's all largely about having fun while making some money for yourself. So, and curiosity will go a long way. So, whatever you're curious about, work in that field, get an education in that field.
Okay. And just a fun question which was coming into my mind. So you belong to a Marwadi family also.
Yeah.
So is it something because of that you are into business?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, our entire childhood was spent listening to dad's business stories.
Business stories, yeah.
So, and he made it sound, actually, I mean, my dad made work sound very easy and very normal. For the longest time, I felt like, oh, okay, everybody earns money and everybody has a successful business. I mean, obviously, when I was in school. But eventually, I found out, no, it's not like that. It's just that some people are just so determined and love it so much that they make it look very easy.
If you have to give one message to the message to the students who are going to give their boards in upcoming few years, so what it is going to be? So Khushbu, to end up with, this podcast is for majorly, I think, the people who are going to watch us, the people who either have their children who are going to go in the boards, or actually the students who are going to go and get their boards. So what is going to be the one message for those students?
86% of graduates, that is 8 out of 10 people who have a bachelor's or master's degree, have no idea what kind of work they want to do. They just have a degree. I really, really hope and pray that this statistics in the next 10 years changes significantly. And the only way to change this is the first step of making a decision regarding your career should be an informed step. It should not be a random one. So I really hope that everybody takes this very seriously, and before they are done with their 10th standard, they know which career type they want to work in and what kind of work is done in that career type, and why do they think they are better suited for that as opposed to the remaining 12. So find your career type.
Okay. So thank you so much, Khushbu. It was really fun to have an interaction with you, and we have covered many dimensions, whether it be career exploration or the journey of an entrepreneur, a very young female entrepreneur actually. So yes, thank you so much for giving your time and for shooting this podcast with us.
Thank you, Pranjal. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
It was fun shooting with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching today's podcast. I hope you must have enjoyed and learned a lot from Khushbu's journey. And stay tuned for our next podcast.